The dust from the military helicopter hadn't even settled when I saw the message from my sister Amanda. Surprise, you're going to be an aunt. God blessed us with a miracle pregnancy. My name is Captain Kate Mitchell, and after 9 months of deployment in Afghanistan, this wasn't the homecoming news I expected, especially since my sister had been declared infertile 3 years ago. I stared at my phone, scanning through the family group chat messages. Photos of Amanda's ultrasound, my parents' excited responses, and endless congratulations from relatives. Something felt off. The last time we spoke, Amanda was devastated about her failed IVF attempts. Now, suddenly, a miracle. Captain Mitchell. Lieutenant Torres approached with a folder. There's something irregular with your financial records. Several large withdrawals from your account during deployment. We need you to verify these transactions. My heart stopped as I looked at the bank statements. Nearly $150,000 in withdrawals, all made at a fertility clinic in Boston, the same city where I'd stored my embryos before deployment. That's impossible, I whispered. I didn't authorize any of these. Then it hit me. Amanda had my power of attorney for emergencies. She had access to my combat pay savings, and she knew about my frozen embryos. The ones I created before deployment, my backup plan for a family after serving my country. I need to make a call, I told Torres, my hands shaking as I dialed the fertility clinic. Boston Fertility Center. How may I help you? This is Captain Kate Mitchell. I need to verify something about my stored embryos. A pause. Oh, Mrs. Mitchell. Congratulations on your successful procedure. Your sister said you were thrilled about her carrying your embryos. It's so wonderful when family helps like this. The world tilted sideways. Amanda hadn't just stolen my money. She'd stolen my future children. I ended the call and turned to Torres. Lieutenant, I need to report a theft, and I need JAG involved. The next few hours were a blur of statements and documentation. Amanda had used my power of attorney to access both my savings and my embryos, forged my signature on consent forms, and used my combat pay to fund the procedures. All while I was serving overseas, unable to stop her. My phone kept buzzing with family messages. Amanda sent a video of her decorating a nursery. Can't wait for you to meet your niece or nephew, she wrote, followed by heart emojis. Niece or nephew? These were my children she was carrying, my embryos, my future she'd stolen. I waited until I was alone in my quarters before calling her. She answered on the first ring, her voice sickeningly sweet. Katie, are you excited about the baby news? Mom and Dad are over the moon. Cut the act, Amanda. I know what you did. A pause. Then her voice changed, hardened. I did what I had to do. You're too busy playing soldier to be a mother. These babies deserve someone who'll be there for them. They're my children, Amanda. My embryos. My money. She laughed, a sound cold and unfamiliar. No, they're mine now. I'm the one carrying them. I'm the one who'll raise them. You can't even commit to staying in one place. What kind of mother would you be? A better one than a thief, I replied, my military training keeping my voice steady despite the rage building inside me. Did you really think you'd get away with this? I already have, she said smugly. I'm 12 weeks along. By the time you figure out the legal mess, these babies will be born, and no judge will separate them from the only mother they know. I let out a slow breath. We'll see about that. You should have thought this through better, Amanda. What's that supposed to mean? It means you didn't just steal from your sister. You stole from a military officer using forged documents and military funds. That's federal fraud. Her confidence wavered slightly. You wouldn't. The military police are already investigating. I'd expect their call soon. I ended the call and stared at my reflection in the window. The sister I'd grown up with, the one I trusted with my power of attorney, was gone. In her place was someone who committed federal crimes and thought she could get away with it because we were family. My phone lit up with a text from Mom. Family barbecue this weekend to celebrate Amanda's miracle. You'll be there, right? I looked at the JAG officer's card on my desk, then back at Mom's message. Amanda thought she had won, that she'd present me with a fait accompli, and I'd just have to accept it. She had no idea what was coming. I'll be there, I texted back. Let her have her moment of triumph. The MPs would be right behind me. The family barbecue was in full swing when I arrived. Our suburban childhood home was decorated with pink and blue balloons, a baby on board banner hanging across the garage. Amanda sat in what used to be my favorite garden chair, one hand resting on her slightly swollen belly, holding court like a queen. Katie, Mom rushed over, pulling me into a hug. Isn't this wonderful? A miracle baby after all Amanda's struggles. I washed my sister's face over Mom's shoulder. She smirked, confident in her victory. Dad was manning the grill, wearing a world's best grandpa apron that made my stomach turn. Aunt Katie, Amanda called out, waving me over. Come feel the baby kick. The casual ownership of my child made my blood boil. But I kept my face neutral. Years of military training hadn't gone to waste. I knew how to maintain composure under fire. Actually, I said loudly enough for nearby relatives to hear, I need to wait for some guests to arrive. Amanda's smile faltered. Guests? This is family only. Oh, they're very interested in our family situation, I replied, checking my watch. Right on cue, 2 military police vehicles pulled up outside the house. The cheerful chatter died. Amanda's face went pale. Captain Mitchell. Sergeant Willis nodded as she approached, 2 MPs flanking her. Is this your sister, Amanda Mitchell? What's going on? Dad abandoned his grill, moving protectively toward Amanda. Katie, why are the police here? Mrs. Amanda Mitchell, Sergeant Willis continued, we have a warrant for your arrest for fraud, identity theft, and misappropriation of military funds. The spatula dropped from Dad's hand. Mom's sweet tea glass chattered on the patio. This is ridiculous. Amanda stood up, one hand still on her belly. You can't arrest a pregnant woman. Katie, tell them. I stepped forward. The pregnancy is part of the crime, Amanda. Those are my embryos you stole. My children you're carrying. The silence that followed was deafening. Relatives froze mid-conversation, plates of food forgotten in their hands. What are you talking about? Mom whispered, looking between us. Amanda used my power of attorney to empty my combat pay savings and steal my frozen embryos while I was deployed. I explained, my voice steady. She forged my signature on clinic documents and used my money to fund the IVF procedure. Is this true? Dad turned to Amanda, his face ashen. Amanda's mask finally cracked. She doesn't deserve these babies. She's never home, always running off to war zones. I'm the one who's here. I'm the one who can be a real mother. You're a thief, I corrected her. And you're under arrest. As the MPs approached with handcuffs, Amanda tried one last desperate move. Mom, Dad, you can't let them do this. I'm pregnant. Think of your grandchildren. They're not your children, I said firmly. And you're not just facing civilian charges. You committed federal crimes using military documents. That's why the MPs are here. Mom sank into a chair, tears streaming down her face. How could you do this, Amanda? Me. Amanda screamed as the MPs took her arms. What about her? She's destroying this family. These babies need a mother who's present. These babies need a mother who isn't a criminal, I replied. As they led Amanda to the police vehicle, she turned back one last time. You'll regret this, Katie. No judge will make me give up these babies now. I watched the police cars drive away, leaving stunned silence in their wake. Relatives quietly gathered their things and left, throwing uncertain glances in my direction. Dad approached me, his world's best grandpa apron now hanging limply. Katie, we had no idea. Of course you didn't, I said softer now. Amanda's always been good at telling stories, but this time she went too far. What happens now? Mom asked, still shell-shocked. I pulled out my phone, showing them the email from my lawyer. Emergency hearing tomorrow morning. Given the federal charges and medical documentation, we're filing for immediate custody of the embryos. Custody? Mom's voice cracked. But she's already pregnant. There are medical and legal procedures for this situation, I explained. The fertility clinic is already cooperating with investigators. They're horrified that this happened. Dad sat heavily in a nearby chair. All this time, we were celebrating, and she had stolen your children. I looked around at the baby decorations. The celebration turned crime scene. Amanda had orchestrated the perfect performance, playing the role of miracle mother while building her happiness on stolen dreams. But she'd forgotten one crucial detail. You don't steal from a soldier and expect to get away with it. My phone buzzed. A text from Sergeant Willis. Suspect in custody. Hearing scheduled for 900 tomorrow. JAG team standing by. I took one last look at the baby on board banner before turning to my parents. I'll see you at the courthouse tomorrow. This isn't over yet. The courthouse hallway was eerily quiet at 8:45 a.m. I sat straight backed in my Class A uniform, my military bearing a shield against the chaos of emotions threatening to overwhelm me. Down the hall, Amanda sat in custody, her hands protectively wrapped around her stomach. My children. My parents arrived, looking like they aged years overnight. Mom had dark circles under her eyes, and Dad's usual confident stride was replaced by uncertain steps. The fertility clinic's medical director is here to testify, my JAG attorney, Major Sarah Harrison, informed me, along with the forensics team that traced the financial fraud. Amanda's attorney approached us, his expression grim. Captain Mitchell, my client is willing to discuss a deal. There is no deal, I reply firmly. She stole my children. The courtroom doors opened at exactly 9 a.m. Judge Patricia Martinez, known for handling complex military cases, presided. This is an unprecedented case, Judge Martinez began. We have charges of federal fraud, identity theft, and medical theft, complicated by an ongoing pregnancy with embryos obtained through criminal means. Amanda's attorney stood. Your Honor, my client acknowledges her actions were wrong, but we must consider the psychological impact of separating a mother from her unborn child. She's not the mother, Major Harrison countered. Captain Mitchell is the biological mother and legal owner of the embryos. Mrs. Amanda Mitchell obtained them through fraud and theft. The fertility clinic's director testified next, presenting evidence of the forged documents and detailing how Amanda had impersonated me. In my 30 years of practice, I've never seen such a calculated theft of reproductive material, he stated. The consent forms were clearly forged, and Mrs. Amanda Mitchell used Captain Mitchell's military status to push through the procedures quickly. The financial evidence was damning. Bank records showed Amanda systematically draining my combat pay savings, timing the transfers with my deployment schedule when she knew I have limited access to communications. Then came Amanda's testimony. I did it for the family, she pleaded, tears streaming down her face. Katie's always away serving her country. These babies deserve a mother who'll be there, not someone who chooses war zones over family. My hands clenched under the table, but I maintained my composure. Mrs. Mitchell, Judge Martinez interrupted. Are you suggesting that military service makes Captain Mitchell unfit to be a mother? No, Your Honor. But because I see before me a woman who served her country honorably while taking responsible steps to preserve her future fertility. In contrast, I see someone who committed federal crimes to steal that future. The judge turned to the medical expert. What are the options given the current situation? The pregnancy is 14 weeks along. While unusual, there are medical procedures to safely transfer custody of the embryos to a qualified surrogate chosen by Captain Mitchell. Amanda burst into tears. You can't do this. I'm their mother. No, I finally spoke, my voice carrying years of military command. You're a thief who took advantage of my military service to steal my children. Being pregnant doesn't make you their mother any more than stealing a wallet makes you its rightful owner. Judge Martinez called a brief recess. When she returned, her decision was swift and unequivocal. The court finds in favor of Captain Mitchell. Mrs. Amanda Mitchell will be remanded to federal custody pending criminal charges. Medical custody of the embryos will be transferred to Captain Mitchell's chosen surrogate within 48 hours. My parents gasped. Amanda collapsed in her chair. Furthermore, the judge continued, Mrs. Amanda Mitchell will face federal charges for fraud against a service member, with a minimum sentence of 5 years. As the MPs led Amanda away, she tried one last time. Mom, Dad, please, don't let them do this. But our parents stood firmly beside me. Dad placed a hand on my shoulder, finally understanding the depth of his other daughter's betrayal. 3 months later, I stood in a different hospital room, watching my chosen surrogate's ultrasound. Linda, a military spouse I'd served with, had volunteered immediately when she heard my story. Twins, the doctor smiled, both doing perfectly. My mom squeezed my hand, tears in her eyes, happy ones this time. When do you deploy next? I don't, I replied. I've accepted a position as a military instructor at the academy, home every night for dinner. Not that I needed to prove anything, but it felt important to show that serving one's country and being a mother weren't mutually exclusive. Amanda's sentencing was scheduled for after the births. She faced the consequences of her actions, but that wasn't my focus anymore. My focus was on the 2 healthy heartbeats on the ultrasound screen, my children growing safely, legally, and ethically. "They're beautiful," Mom whispered. "Yes," I agreed, watching the tiny figures move. "And they'll know their mother chose to serve her country and create them in love, not theft." The ultrasound painted a picture of my future, one that Amanda had tried to steal but had ultimately helped make stronger. Sometimes the best revenge isn't revenge at all. It's living well and raising your children to know right from wrong. And these children would know both their mother's service and their mother's strength.